You know how you can remember every single word to a song from when you were like 10 years old, but you can't for the life of you remember the name of the person you just met 5 seconds ago? Well, today we're going to crack open the science behind that. We're talking about the very first, most crucial step to making any memory stick. Oh man, we have all been there. You cram for an exam for hours, and then the second you hand it in, all that information just vanishes. Or you have a brilliant idea in the shower, and 30 seconds later, poof, it's gone forever. It's so frustrating, right? But there's a really fascinating reason why this happens, and it all boils down to one key process in your brain. And that process is called encoding. Honestly, you can think of it like the gatekeeper to your mind. It's kind of like the bouncer at a club who decides which of your daily experiences gets the VIP pass into your long-term memory, and which ones get told, no, not tonight, and get turned away at the door. So what is encoding, really? Well, here's the best way to think about it. Imagine you're traveling to another country. You can't just walk in and spend your dollars, right? You have to convert it to the local currency first. Encoding is your brain doing that exact same thing. It takes in all the sights, sounds, and feelings from the world and converts them into a neural language that it can actually understand and, most importantly, store for later. See, it's the absolutely essential first step in a three-part system. You encode, then you store, then you retrieve. If that first step, encoding, doesn't happen successfully, there's literally nothing to put into storage. And if there's nothing in storage, there's nothing to pull out later. So here's the bottom line. If you want to improve your memory, you have to start by getting better at encoding. Okay, so how does this whole encoding thing actually work? Well, it turns out your brain doesn't just have one boring save button. It's got a few different options, a few different paths it can take, and each one has its own unique strengths. We've got three main types. First up is visual encoding. This is all about what something looks like. Simple enough. Then there's acoustic encoding, which is all about sound. You know, if you've ever repeated a phone number out loud over and over to remember it, that's you using acoustic encoding. And finally, we have the undisputed heavyweight champion, semantic encoding. This one is all about understanding the actual meaning behind the information. And this, right here, this is where it gets super important, especially for learning anything. Your short-term memory, that kind of quick mental notepad, it tends to lean on sound, that acoustic encoding. But, and this is the key, if you want to lock that information into your long-term memory, your brain overwhelmingly prefers meaning. It wants that semantic encoding. This is a total game changer for anyone studying for anything. And hey, this isn't just a hunch or a good idea. It's a scientifically proven fact. The deeper you process information, the more meaning you give it, the stronger and more permanent that memory becomes. And there's a classic study that just nails this point perfectly. This is the core idea of something called the levels of processing theory. And what does that really mean? It's simple. Actually engaging with the meaning of something forges a memory that is way, way tougher than one you made just by glancing at how it looks or hearing how it sounds. So picture this. It's 1975 and two researchers, Craik and Tulving, designed this brilliant experiment. They show people a list of words. For each word, they ask a question. Some questions were super shallow, like, is this word in capital letters? Others were about sound, like, does this word rhyme with train? And some were deep about meaning, like, would you find this item in a grocery store? Then they hit them with a surprise memory test. And the results? Whoa. They were absolutely striking. It wasn't even a competition. The people who were forced to think about the meaning of the words, that semantic group, they remembered way, way more words than the other two groups. I mean, the proof is right there in the chart. Meaning is king. Okay, so the theory is cool. The science is solid. But how do we actually use this? How can we take this knowledge and become pro-level encoders in our own lives? Well, let's stock up our toolkit with a few really powerful techniques. All right, first up, try elaborative rehearsal. Don't just repeat a fact like a robot. Actively connect it to something you already get. Second, use visual imagery. Create a weird, funny, or vivid mental movie of the ideas interacting with each other. And third, you can't go wrong with the classics, mnemonics, and chunking. Things like acronyms or just grouping big strings of information into smaller, more meaningful packets. And now for the supercharger. This is called the self-reference effect, and it's so powerful. Information becomes incredibly sticky, almost like mental Velcro, when you connect it to your own life and your own experiences. So if you're learning about a hysterical event, imagine you were there. Learning a new term? Think of how it applies to a problem you've had. Making it personal is maybe the best memory hack there is. So, now we've got all these amazing techniques for deep, meaningful encoding. But here's the catch. Not a single one of these will work without one final, absolutely essential, non-negotiable ingredient. It's the foundation. It's the thing that everything else is built on. Without it, that encoding gate we talked about at the very beginning, it just stays shut, locked tight. Nothing gets in. That secret ingredient is attention. That's it. If you're distracted, if you're trying to multitask, if your mind is a million miles away, you're not really encoding anything. You can't process meaning, you can't make connections, you can't do any of it if you aren't paying attention in the first place. It is the absolute starting point for all learning and all memory. Period. So the power to build a lasting memory is right there in your hands. It's directly tied to how deeply you engage with information and, even before that, where you decide to place your focus. So the real question isn't just how you're going to remember things. It's what you will decide is important enough to truly pay attention to.